You know that feeling, right? You're in a meeting, or maybe just a conversation, and you get the sense that someone in the room knows exactly what's going on, without even saying a word. It's a little unsettling. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this fascinating and, frankly, powerful personality type, the silent observer. So let me ask you this. Who is the most dangerous person in the room? Is it the one with the loudest voice, the most aggressive personality, the person who looks like they're in charge? You might think so, but the answer probably isn't who you'd expect.
Yeah, it's not the person talking the most. It's the one who is listening. That person who seems the quietest, they're often the one gathering the most intel, holding all the cards, and you might not even notice them.
And this brings us to this idea of the silent predator. Now hold on, before that name freaks you out, we're not talking about a physical threat here, not at all. We're talking about someone who has a massive advantage when it comes to social and situational awareness.
So what do these people look like? Well, that's the whole point. They are masters of blending in. They're usually quiet, totally unassuming. You'd probably never pick them out as the most powerful person there. But that quietness, it's a kind of camouflage. They're actively soaking up way more information than they're giving away. And in their head, they're building this perfect, intuitive map of how everyone in the group connects.
So how do they do it? What's their big secret? Come on, it's not a sixth sense or some kind of magic trick. It is a highly developed skill. And here's the kicker. It's a skill you can learn. It's called hyper-awareness. Think of hyper-awareness as actively processing the world around you on a much, much deeper level. It's not just seeing and hearing. It's about noticing all those little social cues, the super fast nonverbal signals, and the tiny details in the room that most of us just, well, we filter them out. It's like they're watching the world in 4K high definition, while the rest of us are stuck on an old standard def TV. And here is the real key difference. See, most of us are pretty passive observers. We hear the words someone says, but the hyper-aware person, they listen for the intent hiding behind those words. We look at people, sure, but they see the behavior, the truth behind the mask. It's the difference between a blurry general focus and a razor-sharp, detailed one. Okay, so we get the what. Now let's dive into the how. What are these hidden signals that they're actually tuning into? What's in their toolkit? Well, their whole toolkit is about the language that isn't spoken. They're watching your body language, your posture, your gestures. They're catching those little micro-expressions, those flashes of real emotion that last for just a fraction of a second. They're analyzing the tone, the rhythm of your voice. And this is a big one. They are hunting for any inconsistencies between what you say and what your body does. They even notice who isn't talking, because sometimes silence says more than words ever could. Their method is actually pretty simple when you break it down. It's really a three-step process. First, they just watch someone and establish a baseline. How does this person normally act? What's their default setting? Second, they look for anomalies, any weird deviation from that normal pattern. And finally, they connect the dots. They figure out what those little changes might mean. A slight hesitation before answering, a shift in posture when a certain topic comes up. To them, every single detail is another piece of the puzzle. It reminds me of what the legendary consultant Peter Drucker said. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. The real information, the real story, is almost always in the subtext. And that's the world where the hyper-aware person lives and breathes. This brings us to a really important question. We've been calling them a predator, but is that really fair? What's their motivation? I mean, are they a predator, a protector, or maybe just a brilliant strategist? So, yeah, why would anyone develop such an intense skill? Is it all about gaining power over people? Is it driven by some kind of deep-seated fear, or is there something else going on here? The reality, as it usually is a lot more nuanced. The motivation can be completely different from person to person. For some people, it's all driven by empathy. They have this genuine desire to connect with people and truly understand how they're feeling. For others, yeah, it's about strategy, learning how to navigate tricky social situations to get ahead. And for some, it's just about security, constantly scanning the room for potential threats to stay safe. So, here's the most important takeaway for this part. The skill itself is neutral. It's not really about predation. It's about perception. It's the intent behind the observation that tells you everything you need to know, whether it's being used for connection, for strategy, or, yeah, for something a little more menacing. All right, so now that we've kind of pulled back the curtain on this personality type, It's time to turn that lens around and maybe think about our own role in the world. So what did we learn today? Let's recap. First, real power, true influence, often comes from quiet observation, not a loud voice. Second, and this is a big one, hyper-awareness is a skill you can actually develop. Third, remember that nonverbal cues almost always reveal what's really going on. And finally, if you want to understand people, you have to understand their motive. And all of this leaves us with one last big question. Now that you know the signs, the techniques, and the motivations, the next time you walk into a room, take a good look around. Who's really watching? And, more importantly, are you the observer or are you the one being observed?